Before we get started, I do want to apologize. My rose bushes are by the road, so you will hear some cars go by. I'll try my best to clean that up when I edit the video. So the first thing you want to do when you're deadheading spent blooms on a rose bush is you want to be able to locate them, right? This is not a spent bloom. This is a happy bloom. So we're not going to be targeting these. What we will be targeting are these spent blooms, where we have the dead center of the former flower and all the petals have come off, right? So this is what they look like as you see here in the video, okay? So that's step one, locate where your spent blooms are. The second step is, well, where do I cut? You want to follow what's called the 5-leaf rule. So you want to trace the stem to the base, and you want to go deep enough where you cut right above where there's 5 leaves. So if you see here, if we trace this stem, there's 3 leaves here. This is not deep enough, we need to go deeper. And if you continue to trace this route, you see that here we have at least 5 leaves. We actually have a little bit more. So you want to cut below the 3 leaf and above the 5 leaf. And the third step when you want to deadhead a spent bloom on a rose bush is how to cut. So we've located the dead bloom, we've located where we want to cut, but now we want to decide how to cut. And you want to cut on an angle for 2 reasons. First, you want water to be able to run off the plant freely. Rose bushes are susceptible to certain fungal diseases, like powdery mildew and to leaf spots. And you want water to be able to run off the plant freely and not sit. So you want to cut on an angle. And the second reason you want to cut on this angle is because you want a direct growth. You want the plant to grow upright and away from each other to avoid competition and to avoid tangling. So on this plant, for example, if we cut on an angle this way, not only will water be able to run off freely, but you'll encourage the plant to grow this way, away from the other blooms where it has a better chance of getting more sunlight. And that's it. Here's another example. We locate the spent bloom. We trace it along the stem. The first stem is a 3 leaflet. This is not deep enough. We need to go deeper. If you continue to trace, you'll notice here a 5 or more leaflet. We want to cut right above the 5 leaflet on the angle like this, because that will encourage growth this way, away from the base of the plant, and also it will allow water to run off freely. Okay guys, here's one last example. We locate the spent bloom. We trace along the vine. The first leaf we see here is a triplet. So we want to keep going. We want to go deeper, and then we find a 5 leaflet or more here. So we want to cut below the 3, but above the 5. And once again, on an angle, because we want to encourage growth this way, away from the base of the plant to create more airflow. Okay? So simply like that. When I began gardening, I hated deadheading because I thought I was damaging the plant. Why cut plants after all? Instead of hurting the plant, deadheading actually helps the plant by encouraging new growth. Like any plant, roses have finite amounts of growth potential. The plant will continue to send energy to spent blooms, not realizing that the same flower cannot bloom twice. By removing the dead flowers, roses are able to initiate new shoots and new blossoms, making them, and you, very happy. By the way, the roses shown in this video are knockout brand roses, but the advice is fairly universal. Now, as you notice here, some of my roses are sagging a little bit. And you can actually see why as water drips down. Everything is fine with my roses. We just had a few days of extreme waterfall. So these will bounce back once there's more sunlight. The plants will continue to grow towards the sunlight, and this drooping is just a natural phenomenon when there's rain. I want to show you guys what a rose bush looks like that I pruned that I deadheaded, excuse me, about 1 or 2 weeks ago. As you can see here at the cut marks, we see red growth. Red growth is new growth, and new growth is good growth. So this is a happy, healthy rose bush. And actually, if you look at some of these red growth specifically, you can see that there are multiple shoots. So you make one cut to create 2 shoots. Here are 3 tips. 1, you're going to want to wear long sleeves and use gloves because roses do have thorns. I did not in this video, and I did get a thorn stuck in my palm. 2, wash your pruning tool between plants to prevent the spread of any potential diseases from one rose to another. Mild soap or an alcohol-based solution will suffice. And lastly, and most importantly, don't stress. There really isn't a right or wrong way to deadhead roses. Deadheading too much or too little will not kill the rose, and remember that roses grow in the wild where there is no deadheading, and they do fine there. So take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the outdoors.